The training yard was quiet except for the wind and the rhythmic crunch of boots on gravel. Recruits moved through the drill in pairs, faces set, bodies tense, every motion watched from the perimeter by instructors who missed nothing. This was supposed to be controlled chaos, stress without injury, pressure without humiliation. Ava tightened the strap of her helmet and stepped forward when her number was called. She'd earned her place here through grit and silence, through months of being underestimated and outworked. Her uniform fit snugly, creased and clean, a symbol of belonging she refused to take for granted. Across from her stood 2 trainees assigned as aggressors for the scenario. Training knives only. No strikes to the head or neck. No targeting equipment. Everyone knew the rules. The whistle blew. Ava moved first, closing distance, redirecting a slash, pivoting to keep both attackers in front of her. The first few seconds went exactly as trained, fast, sharp, professional. She blocked, countered, stepped out of a grab. The instructors nodded, eyes tracking footwork and angles. Then one of the attackers smiled. It was quick, almost invisible, but Ava caught it. Something shifted. The second attacker feinted high while the first dipped low, crowding her space. Ava reacted on instinct, breaking the angle, but the blade flashed where it shouldn't have. She felt the tug before she saw it. Fabric tore. The training knife sliced clean through the side seam of her uniform, ripping it open from hip to rib. Not skin. Not blood. But close enough that the message was unmistakable. The yard went dead silent. Ava froze for half a second, more surprised than afraid. This wasn't a strike. This wasn't a mistake. Cutting the uniform was forbidden, meant to humiliate, to shock, to assert dominance without leaving marks. The attacker leaned in, voice low. Guess you're not as tough as you think. The second attacker laughed. Ava's jaw clenched. She didn't step back. She didn't cover herself. She squared her shoulders and reset her stance, eyes burning with controlled fury. Before the whistle could sound, a different voice cut through the air. Stop. It wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. The SEAL instructor stepped onto the yard, boots steady, expression unreadable. He raised one hand, and every movement ceased. Even the wind seemed to pause. He walked slowly toward the trio, eyes fixed not on Ava, but on the 2 attackers. He stopped inches from the one holding the knife. Explain, he said calmly. The attacker swallowed. Sir, I was demonstrating a vulnerability. The instructor's gaze flicked to the torn uniform, then back to the trainee's eyes. You demonstrated intent. He turned to Ava. You injured? No, sir, she said, voice steady. Uniform compromised. The instructor nodded once. Then he looked back at the attackers. Do you know why we don't cut uniforms in training? He asked. The first attacker hesitated. Because it's disrespectful, sir. The instructor tilted his head. Try again. The second attacker spoke up. Because it creates panic and breaks trust, sir. Correct, the instructor said. And what happens in real operations when trust breaks? Silence. People die, he finished for them. He stepped back and raised his voice just enough for the entire class to hear. This drill is terminated. A collective breath released across the yard. Medics, he added, then waved them off. Stand down. No injuries. He faced Ava again. You maintained composure under provocation. You didn't escalate. You didn't freeze. That matters. Yes, sir. He turned back to the attackers. You, he said, pointing to the first. You violated protocol. You targeted equipment to intimidate a teammate. The trainee's face drained of color. You, he said to the second, supported it. Both nodded stiffly. Hand over the knives. They did. The instructor took them and placed them on the ground between his boots. You're done for today. You'll report to remediation at 0500. Until then, you'll reflect on why we train. He leaned in, voice low but carrying. We do not break our own to feel strong. Yes, sir, they said in unison. The instructor straightened and addressed the group. Training is not a stage for ego. It's preparation for the worst day of your life. If you can't protect your teammates' dignity here, you don't belong out there. He nodded to Ava. Get a replacement uniform. Then rejoin. As she walked off the yard, heads turned, not with pity, but with respect. The tear in her uniform flapped in the wind, but she didn't rush. She moved with the same measured pace she'd entered with, chin up, focus intact. Behind her, the instructor watched until she disappeared into the locker room. Then he picked up the knives and handed them to another instructor. Reset the scenario, he said quietly. And make it clear, discipline isn't optional. When Ava returned, uniform restored, the yard felt different. Quieter. Sharper. The kind of quiet that comes after a line has been drawn and understood. The whistle blew again. And this time, everyone remembered why they were there.